The supermarket was bright, warm, and full of colors that felt almost cruel to someone who had nothing. Every aisle looked like a celebration. Rows of cereal boxes smiling from the shelves, chocolates wrapped in shiny foil, toys hanging from plastic hooks like tiny promises of happiness. But for Maria, every step inside the store felt heavier than the last. Her fingers gripped the shopping cart handle tightly as she pushed it slowly down the aisle. Inside the cart there was only a loaf of discounted bread, a carton of eggs, and the cheapest pasta the store sold. She kept glancing at the calculator app on her old phone, whispering numbers to herself. Bread $2, eggs 3. Her daughter Lily walked beside the cart, small hands resting on the edge. She was only 6 years old, wearing a faded pink jacket that used to belong to a neighbor's child. "Mommy?" Lily asked softly. Maria forced a smile. "Yes, sweetheart." Lily pointed to a colorful cereal box with a cartoon tiger on it. "Can we get this?" Maria's smile tightened. She looked at the price. $5. Too much. She shook her head gently. "Not today, honey." Lily nodded quietly. She didn't complain, she didn't beg. That somehow made it worse. They moved to the next aisle. Lily's eyes widened at a small chocolate bar near the checkout shelf. "Mommy, just one." Maria checked the price again. $2. Her throat tightened. "I'm sorry, sweetheart, not today." Lily lowered her hand and simply said, "Okay." No whining, no tears. Just understanding that a 6-year-old shouldn't have needed. Maria felt her chest ache. A few minutes later, they reached the fruit section. Lily looked at a small pack of strawberries, bright red and fresh. "Mommy, can we get strawberries?" Maria almost said yes automatically. Lily loved strawberries. But the price tag said $6.99. Her stomach twisted. "Not today," she said quietly. Lily nodded again. Maria turned the cart away quickly before Lily could see the tears building in her eyes. They continued through the store, repeating the same quiet pattern. "Mommy, can we get juice?" "Not today." "Mommy, what about cookies?" "Not today, honey." Each time Lily just nodded and walked beside her. Other families filled their carts without thinking. Kids tossed snacks inside while parents laughed and talked. Maria tried not to look. 2 years ago, things had been different. Her husband Daniel had been alive then. He worked construction, coming home dusty and tired but always smiling. Their fridge had been full. Lily had strawberry yogurt every morning and chocolate milk on weekends. Then the accident happened. A collapsed scaffold. A phone call that turned Maria's entire world into silence. Now she worked 2 jobs, cleaning offices at night and folding clothes at a discount store during the day. Even then, rent swallowed most of her paycheck. Groceries had become a math problem she could barely solve. When they finally reached the last aisle before checkout, Lily stopped walking. "Mommy," she said quietly. Maria braced herself for another request she'd have to refuse. "Yes, sweetie." Lily pointed to something small on the shelf. It was a tiny birthday candle shaped like the number 6. Maria blinked. "Why do you want that?" she asked softly. Lily hesitated. "Because my birthday is tomorrow." Maria froze. For a moment, the noise of the store faded into nothing. Her daughter's birthday. She had known the date, of course, but in the chaos of bills, shifts, and exhaustion, the day had crept up on her like a shadow she hadn't noticed. And she had nothing. No cake. No present. Not even candles. Maria felt her chest tighten painfully. "Oh, Lily," she whispered. But Lily shook her head quickly. "It's okay, Mommy. We don't need cake." Maria's eyes filled with tears. "But why do you want the candle?" she asked. Lily looked down at her shoes. Because maybe we could put it in the bread, like a cake. Maria's heart shattered right there in the cereal aisle. Bread. Her daughter wanted to put a candle in bread and pretend it was cake. Maria turned away, pretending to check something on the shelf while she wiped her eyes. Behind them, someone had been watching quietly. An older man in a gray jacket stood a few feet away, holding a shopping basket. His name was Thomas. He had come to the store to buy a few things for dinner, but he hadn't moved from that aisle for several minutes. He had heard every word. He watched the mother trying not to cry. He watched the little girl pretending everything was okay. Something inside his chest stirred painfully. Because 20 years earlier, he had stood in a grocery store just like this, with his own daughter. And he had said, "Not today," more times than he could count. Thomas slowly placed his basket on the floor and walked toward them. Maria noticed him approaching and quickly wiped her face. "Excuse me," the man said gently. She looked slightly embarrassed. "Yes." He pointed at the candle Lily was holding. "Is someone having a birthday?" Lily nodded shyly. "Me." Thomas smiled softly. "How old are you turning?" 6. 6 is a very important age, he said warmly. Maria forced a polite smile, clearly uncomfortable with the conversation. "We're okay," she said quickly. "Thank you." Thomas understood what she meant. Pride. Dignity. The last shield people hold when life strips away everything else. So he didn't offer money. Instead, he knelt slightly to Lily's level. "Tell me something," he said with a playful smile. "If you could have any cake in the world, what kind would it be?" Lily's eyes sparkled for the first time that day. "Strawberry." Thomas nodded thoughtfully. "Strawberry cake with frosting." "Yes." "And sprinkles." Lily giggled. "Lots of sprinkles." Thomas stood up slowly. "Well," he said casually, "I guess someone should make sure the bakery department is doing its job today." Maria looked confused. "What do you mean?" But Thomas was already walking away. A few minutes later, while Maria and Lily stood in the checkout line with their tiny collection of groceries, a store employee suddenly appeared beside them. "Excuse me," the young worker said politely. "Is this your daughter?" Maria nodded cautiously. The employee smiled and held out a large white bakery box. "Our manager asked me to give this to you." Maria frowned. "I think there's a mistake." The employee shook his head. "No mistake." Maria slowly opened the box. Inside was a beautiful strawberry birthday cake, covered in pink frosting and rainbow sprinkles. And on top sat a number 6 candle. Maria's hands began to shake. Who paid for this?" The employee pointed toward the exit. Maria turned. Near the sliding doors, the older man in the gray jacket stood holding his small shopping bag. He gave Lily a tiny wave. Then he quietly walked out of the store before Maria could say anything. Lily stared at the cake with wide eyes. "Mommy, is that for me?" Maria's vision blurred with tears. "Yes," she whispered. "Yes, it is." That night in their small apartment kitchen, the strawberry cake sat in the center of the table. Maria lit the candle while Lily bounced excitedly in her chair. The tiny apartment felt warmer than it had in a long time. "Make a wish," Maria said softly. Lily closed her eyes tightly. After blowing out the candle, she opened them again and smiled. "Mommy." "Yes, sweetheart." "Next time we see that man, can we say thank you?" Maria looked at the flickering candle smoke and nodded. "Yes," she said quietly. "We definitely will." But neither of them knew that the kindness of that quiet stranger was only the beginning of a story that would change their lives in ways they could never imagine.